Go ahead, and so who are you?
So my name is Evi Buell, and I'm an English professor here at Faith Basin College, and I am most definitely not a photographer. I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I take pictures. I've never had any training with photography. I've never had anyone show me what to do. It's just been a matter of take my trusty SLR out, I just aim, I see what I see, and I shoot. And for me, this started about 9 years ago when I ran across a news article about film, of all things. And like many probable children of the 80s, I thought film was gone. It wasn't something I could find in the grocery store anymore, and camera shops really aren't much of a thing anymore. But there's this collective of people in Austria who discovered these really lo-fi Eastern Bloc cameras that they were playing with and ultimately bought the rights to and started bringing back certain films as well. And I tracked down the company. The company's name's Lomography, and thought, well, wait a minute, I can do this. Then the woman I was dating at the time dabbled in photography as well, although she did visual art and fiber art. In fact, she's a professor of that now. And that's where I got my first proper, I guess you would say, film camera. This is a Canon AE1 program from 1981. And it was hers, and she said, no, me and everyone I know has gone digital, so if you want to try film, go right ahead. And so this is what I started with. I've got a few lenses that came with it. And I shot a couple rolls on this and a couple of rolls on other formats. So the ones I bought from Lomography, this is based on the sardine can camera. And this one, which is a medium format camera based on the old Diana from Southeast Asia in the 1960s. And then this one, which sort of won me over immediately, which is a 35mm camera, but it takes the shot across two images on the film, so you get these really wide ones. And I ran across a problem at that point, as I'm taking all of these shots. How do I develop film? It's not like I can just go down to the drugstore and drop them off, or there's no 1-hour photo mats in like the parking lots of supermarkets anymore. So, went back to my girlfriend at the time who gave me the camera and said, oh, it's not that hard, I can show you how. And so I bought what's called a press kit, which is something that they used to issue to photojournalists and international correspondents so that they could be somewhere, in the middle of a war zone and set up a small fire, heat up their water, and develop their shots to see what they have. And I started getting my hands on these kits and realized I can do this in my kitchen. I've got this really, really easy. And that unlocked kind of everything for me. Sure, it's a little on the grainy side, it's a little rough around the edges, but I liked that because in a lot of ways that's what our eyes see. We don't see perfectly, just like we don't remember perfectly. And so what you see amongst all of these shots that I took at various points over the last decade is just something that I happened to see, and me working in my kitchen, depending on where I was living at the time, to develop those shots. And the hardest part about putting this show together, other than trying to sort out how to make 4,000 pictures fit down into one gallery, was the fact that I've never printed my own work before. And I still didn't. I sent it out to be printed because I don't have the equipment for it. I don't have my darkroom set up yet. I just develop in my kitchen. You don't need a darkroom to develop film. Anybody can do this. If you can cook a basic meal, you can develop film. Anybody can be doing this. So the images in this collection are what I saw in the places that I've lived. There's only one gaping hole in that, and that is that I don't have any shots from where I lived in Oregon, which is a little bit of a disappointment. But a lot of this is my previous life in Michigan, which was just a wonderland of of nature and industrial decay and just some wonderful people as well. But there are shots in this collection from here in Elko, shots from Miami, Florida, from one from where I grew up in Oak Lawn, Illinois. And yeah, it's just the things that I've managed to see. And for me, everyone asks, why don't you go digital? I don't know that it would be any fun anymore. I don't. You tell me that I'm going to just shoot digital, this flat image that's then on a screen, that's then on another screen. That's not any fun to me. You know, the magic is in seeing what you have, and whether that's, you know, a film shot like this camera here takes a 360-degree image. When you pull the string on it, it goes across 4 cells on a 35mm roll and gets everything around you. Or something like this, which is my favorite toy. It's an instant camera that has all sorts of lens options to it. I don't have that one. The lens is out right now. This is just the basic one. But, you know, switch it to infinity, just sort of aim and fire. And now I have a thing that's tangible. It's that part of memory that's elusive is sort of made that little bit more permanent, and that's where my interest is. I don't want any of this to be perfect. Nothing I've shot here is perfect. None of it was developed perfectly, but none of it's manipulated either. This is what was there. I develop my film, I scan it. There's no Photoshop or anything. There's a couple of shots in here, in fact, that the color looks absolutely outrageous. It's what was on the film. That was just how it came out. That's what went through the lens of the camera. That's what went through that chemical process in my kitchen sink. That's what was there. So I feel like that process is a little bit more true to me.